Everyone thinks because you're a zombie, you don't know good coffee. Well, they're wrong. There's only one brew that gets my seal of approval. Deadly Grounds coffee is my guilty pleasure. The aroma is so intoxicating. It brings all of my neighbors out of the woodwork. Deadly Grounds coffee. Coffee to die for and zombie approved. It's good to get a little deadly. Use the front door! Oh, they're so disgusting.
It's Tuesday night, time for another live Wicked Horror Show. I'm Kevin, and as always, I'm joined by Tony Has Nine Fingers.
What is going on, people?
And we're also joined by Angel from That Strange Show. You're muted, Angel.
Hi, sorry about that.
You're new.
I'm new. Yeah.
And we have a couple returning guests. I'm going to start with Aimee first, because there's less of you on the screen. We have Aimee Rolfsen. We had you on for
Harlow's Haunt last year.
It's
been a minute, but thanks for having me back.
Yes, it's our pleasure. It's been a long day, so I apologize. And then we have Joe Stauffer and his group of cohorts. What's going on, Joe?
What's up, man? What's
Not
shaking,
much.
baby?
Not much. You want to introduce everyone else in the room?
Yeah, this is Mario. He was a producer with me on Pieces of Talent. We worked together for 15 or so years. And this is Minnie. She's worked with me over the last 5 or so years on various projects. So, you know, we make stuff together. So we were just here hanging out, actually working on a new project, running some lines, doing some script work, and
Nice.
So I thought they would hop on, hang out.
That's awesome. And so just so Mario knows, I am a little obsessed with Pieces of Talent. So it's partly your fault.
Hey, awesome. Glad to hear that.
I mean, I know Tony was a bit obsessed as well. We all have multiple copies of the movie, and I have bobblehead. I got a new shirt. We got the cutout, all that stuff. Yeah, we're a little obsessed. I still am obsessed. I'm constantly trying to get people to watch it that haven't seen it. And I think, Tony, you told me that last time you checked, it was actually selling for a pretty good amount on eBay.
Yeah, that, and then there's a new thing called Whatnot, which is almost like a live eBay auction. So there's people that I look for DVDs and Blu-rays, and someone pulled this up, and they're like, "Oh, I have no idea what this is, but it's going for a lot of money." So I'm like, "Oh, that's Pieces of Talent." They're like, "What's that?" I'm like, "It's an independent movie. You should all check it out." And they're like, "Oh, we have no idea what this is, but it's going for like $100 on eBay." I'm like,
That's crazy, man.
That is nuts.
If you go to
but it's a great movie, so.
If you go to shutterblademedia.com and you just search the shop, they can get Blu-rays for $20.
Don't tell anyone. But yeah.
Don't give it away, Joe.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I mean, obviously Angel is welcome at any time, but he's also an aspiring filmmaker and cinematographer. So I figured it would be good to have him on for this, so that way he can pick some brains, ask some questions himself. And just real quick, we have a bunch of people in the chat. Let me see. And I'm going to start with, all right. We have hello or hi, everyone. I don't know who that is. 1021 Moose. It's Joe saying, hey. Hey, Joe.
I was talking to them. I was like, hey, guys. They're
right.
over there waiting on us. I'm like, what's up?
Bonjour. We have a bonjour. And we have hey, y'all. I'm assuming they're from somewhere down south. We have hey again from Joe Stauffer. Hey, Joe.
I'm just talking to myself.
Life is Pain. He's a regular in the chat. What's going on? And Joe Stauffer saying, yo. What's up, Joe? Then we also have that Moose person saying that they love Joe. And which who doesn't? Molly Z.
I'll tell you a few people.
Molly Z is frequent at the horror cons, and Doug is one of my good friends and also one of my co-producers on an upcoming feature titled The End that we're shooting the end of September. So thanks for saying hi, Doug.
Nice. So you said Molly Z's a regular at horror cons. Is that out in the Florida area, or do you know?
He's actually he's up in the New Jersey area, so you might want to say hi to him and hook up. He's at Monster Mania. He's going to be at New Jersey Horror Con this weekend. So he's all over the place.
Nice.
We have MK Ultra, who's your homeboy. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
What up?
Cody saying hello. Doug saying, hey, Aimee.
Hey.
And Fred is saying...
Fred is also one of the incredibly talented Central Florida actors that's also part of the indie horror feature, The End, that we're shooting end of September. But we'll talk about that later. But
nice.
Hey, Fred.
Nice. So first off, how do you guys know each other? Like, how does Joe, did you like learn of her from this show, or did you know her from before? Or
Yeah, actually.
Wicked Horror Show.
Yeah.
Whoop.
And then we randomly, what was it, like Instagram sharing stuff.
Nice.
That's the great thing about these podcasts is it just opens up the doors for, the horror community is so intertwined anyways. It's such a great community to be a part of. And through these podcasts, we meet so many different people. But Joe and I have a lot in common professionally in our work ethic and our love for indie horror filmmaking. So we keep in touch and just help promote each other. And who knows, we might have to work on something.
Yeah,
busting butt. You gotta hit the grind hard with the indie scene especially.
Yeah.
And that's why we do the show as well. I mean, we're all fans of stuff, and it's any way to help people get word out, and we get to meet a lot of people, and we become huge fans just from independent horror. When we first had Joe on years ago, it was I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, we're having Joe on? I'm like, this is crazy. This is like my favorite movie of the year, and we're having Joe on. Like, it was legit my favorite movie that year. So
thanks, brother.
I think that was one of the first ones that I actually saw that got me rolling into this whole podcast thing, where I would be a fan. I'd never, it was the Dorkening days. So I was a fan. I would watch every week. They would have giveaways, and I would win. I think it was like a 10-week span where I won. And they're like, oh, you keep on winning. I'm like, well, if you have a giveaway. And Leo was like, no, like, it sounds like you know what you're doing. Do you want to come on? And then ever since, I'm just like, yeah, of course. I'm a huge movie fan. So being able to sit down, watch a movie, and then talk to the people behind it, it's like a dream come true kind of deal.
A lot of fun stories. I mean, this guy right here can tell you some. If you have any questions about pieces that you wanna find out, man,
ask
this
away.
Is the man.
Yeah, ask away.
He was there I was running around with my head cut off, and he was keeping it together. So
that's kind of a loaded question, honestly, because I mean, I don't want to. We have Aimee on the show as well. I mean, I have a lot of questions about pieces, and about the process of making pieces, because I know it took a very long time to get the movie done. But Aimee, we've only met the one other time on the show, and I definitely want to hear like your take on some of the stuff too. So, like, are you primarily acting, Aimee, in the movies? Have you ventured out to filmmaking yourself?
Yeah, I'm still really working very closely with Terry Jarrell at Black Dog Films, the writer-producer for Harlow's Haunt. We actually, since we spoke, got picked up by Bayview Entertainment for distribution. That's the same distribution company that brought out Skinamarink, which was a very successful low-budget indie horror. It had a release and did amazingly well. I was first AD on that project, and Terry and I are co-writing Harlow's 2 right now. So we're in the script phase of that. I've been producing a couple indie feature films since the last time we spoke, and continuing to act as well. So kind of all over the place, but that's how I like it.
Yeah, you're producing your butt off right now, right? Like
there's a lot going on. It's been quite busy. The Clock that we talked about, Kevin and I, that was a indie horror feature film, a psychological horror thriller. And then we're working on The End right now, which is another indie horror feature that's shooting in Central Florida. Also producing, acting, and ADing on that as well.
Nice. And I dropped the ball. I was trying to grab the trailer for The Clock, and I failed miserably. So I apologize.
No worries.
That's why you're the worst.
Yeah. There's T-shirts that were made that say Kevin is the worst, and it's referencing me. And then
it's no big deal. Anybody who wants to see the trailer for The Clock, just hop on YouTube and search The clock in your
2023.
skin, you'll find it. It's a pretty cool trailer.
Yeah, but I'm still the worst. And so Wolfie, I don't know. I'm sure you remember Wolfie, Joe. Wolfie's in the chat. He couldn't come on because he's dealing with. He had like some doctor's appointment stuff today. But Wolfie's saying, "What's up?" Joe Stauffer's in the house.
What up?
Life is Pain and saying Pieces was fucking awesome. I agree. And are we allowed to see a short clip from this horror film? If I didn't drop the ball, we could have seen a short clip from the clock. I apologize. You can send all your hate mail to leo@leopond.com.
Yeah.
Tell him Kevin sent you. No, we're he's good people.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Who, Leo?
Yeah, Leo's good people.
So Aimee, can I ask you a question?
Go for it.
So what, in your experience, now that you're producing more so, or, along with acting, what are some of your biggest challenges that you've faced with the more independent, smaller budget things? What are some of the challenges you've faced with that?
I think the key word is what you just said: small budget, micro budget, low budget.
No budget.
Basically, finding different ways to use the resources that you have to produce a high quality film with really strong actors and an excellent crew and cinematographer and editor, and from beginning to end, from just putting the cast together to making sure everybody's on the same page from beginning to end. But the budget is always what you have to keep your eye on. Just know that what you think it's going to cost, it's always going to go over. So have a safety net there, or crowdfund, whatever you can do to kind of pull in those last minute financial resources just to make it all happen, whether it's before production, in production, or even 30 days after production. Just getting yourself out there. The best thing I can recommend is really just promoting and being loud and banging and beating on your own drum, because the more people that you pull into what you're doing, the more eyes you have on your project, the more followers that you get, the more likely it is that they're going to support what you're doing and help out financially when you do crowdfund. So I definitely think just the time, effort, and financial resources have to really be on point, and you've got to be super focused.
I would agree. I would say like marketing's a big thing. I think a lot of times people, they're like, we're going to do this movie, and then they have it, and then they don't know what the hell they're going to do with it when it's done. They haven't thought that far ahead a lot of times. And especially now with the way streaming and everything is, the marketing has to be thought out and like executed loudly, like you said, because you're competing with a lot of noise out there.
Yeah.
And there's so many things being promoted and you have
to live it. You have to promote your work every single day on every platform that you can.
Remember,
it's the only way that you're going to get it out there without having to pay somebody else to do it.
Yeah.
So
we blind mailed a bunch of bloody VHSs out for Pieces with like one of the death scenes on it, just to like people for some of our stuff. This is like 2011,
11, right?
12 something.
Pretty brilliant.
And
I have two of them on the shelf. I'm just saying.
Yeah, to collectors and stuff, and stuff like that, like thinking outside the box, not like, here's a social media post, whatever, like, but having fun with it and all that is key. And it's a whole other creative process too. You know what I mean? It's fun. I think
it's fun, and it takes a lot of time, and you have to love what you do, or you're never gonna be able to get through it. And even shows like this podcast, you guys give us a platform to come out here and connect with an audience and cross over to another audience. And I'm actually part of a magazine we just launched. We're going to push out issue number 4, September 13th, called Indie Horror Junkie. And that's another great avenue for people to promote their work, whether they're filmmakers or production companies, actors, musicians, podcasts, books, comics. It's specifically designed to promote and showcase indie horror artists. So again, just finding different ways to connect with an audience, and be smart where you're putting your finances doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure,
So
man.
for people like me and Angel that we've thrown around the ideas like of doing something forever,
Yeah.
it's
At
more
this
of a
point, it seems like forever. Yeah,
oh
because
yeah, it's and
the
you've
pandemic
been thinking about
happened,
it.
and
Yeah, you've been thinking about it for probably longer than I've known you,
yeah.
and we've both had thought about it. Like there'd be times that Leo and I would go to conventions, and on the way home, we would just be coming up with ideas of what would make a fun film or whatever, and like they would sound fun. Like, is it reality? Like, is it realistic that I could actually make those movies? No, because I was thinking way above my means.
Hey, dude. Like, look,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can say that all you want, but you're gonna have to jump. You can do it. You have to just jump in and and build your. You jump, and then build your parachute on the way down.
Right. I mean, I'd say that we only had one rule when we started with Pieces, and that was that we weren't gonna quit. We were gonna see it through. And yeah, like if you guys are feeling that, I absolutely encourage you to move on it.
All right, yeah, because that's one of the things is like Aimee was saying. It's like showing your work because like I've do test different lenses, do this like shot things, but then like there's an apprehension that I have of like showing the learning I guess that I'm doing currently and like not having like a perfect thing in my head, to showcase.
Bro,
But
it ain't
makes
never gonna be perfect.
Right.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, that's
How long,
part
how
of
long did it
growth.
take? How long did it take you guys to do Pieces? It was like wasn't it like 5 years or something like that?
No, it
no,
was more like 3 by the time we like officially released. It was done in 2013, and like we released it in 14. We shot in 2010.
Right. We were spinning it up, and Joe had actually started doing these little promotional shorts and releasing those on the internet, and kind of building the script all along the way. And then we went into principal photography for 30 days or so, something like that. Got stuff, cut it together. The majority of it worked, but there were some things that we needed to go back and reshoot and rework and that kind of thing. They just didn't, feel like it was there. And that's another thing. You'll feel it, you'll know it, when it's working, and went back and scheduled some more pickups. Yeah, and I think overall, about 2 or 3 years ultimately to get that final product out.
Yeah. Then the scene with Charlotte and David by the lake.
Mm-hmm.
We had a different scene written.
Yeah, we actually shot it 2 other ways previously.
Idea. Yeah.
Right, and the scene still wasn't working. Right, and was like, well, let's try it this way, and it ended up. It's one of my favorite scenes in the film.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you guys are talking about this because that's one of the beautiful things about being an independent filmmaker is there are no rules. You do it on your time and your terms, and it's what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be what you want, or why the hell are you doing it?
Exactly.
Well, some people just do it for money.
Well, on the independent level, maybe some money.
Indie's a little different. It's
Well, no, I mean we do know some filmmakers. We know some filmmakers that like they like started making a good name for themselves, and then they were hired by like a company to like just do this movie for us. And the only reason they did it was like, okay, if we do this, it's going to fund our next film.
Yeah.
So
that's okay. I mean, that's the beauty of. I mean, that's having a career, man.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I do for a living, and it didn't start out that way. When I dropped out of high school, I was playing in a metal band. But like you build it up over years and you build your reputation and you have to make sure your work grows with you and become undeniable, and then you're gonna win. You know what I mean? Failure's not an option. Bro, I get what you're saying about doing the camera test and testing lenses and everything and feeling that nervousness and that apprehension. I understand. And it is always going to be scary on some level, but just do it. Just do it. Don't, because guess what? If you never try, then your chances of failure are 100%. So just fucking do it, man. Excuse me.
No,
Because everybody starts somewhere. Especially that's the one thing. When Pieces came out, I think in my mind, I think it would have a running with like Terrifier, because when you guys came out, you didn't have the machine of like Netflix as big as it is, or just the social media craze that it is. I mean, I think Skinamarink got so big because TikTok reviewers were like, you got to see this movie. It's so much different. And then it blew up on TikTok. Same thing with Terrifier 2. It was like on the news and this, which is this great movie, but it had like a big machine behind it. And now they released the first one, which nobody knew about the first one as much until Netflix picked it up. So now they're re-releasing that one. So I think unfortunately with the strike and stuff, I think this might be the second resurgence of indie film, because the first one was the pandemic when no one really could do it, film like big budget. So that's where I think independent came. I think this might be the second coming of everybody looking elsewhere.
I mean, there's going to be a bit of a drought there, so I'm happy to provide quality family content for all.
Family? Well, I know you do you do a little bit of everything, but
do whatever the script or story requires, man. I'm not just a horror guy. I just want to tell stories.
Oh yeah.
So.
And I'm not just a horror guy either. Like I just really love horror, but I also love a really good like drama, and I love a really good I love old cop dramas from like the 70s.
Yeah.
I don't know why. French Connection. You can't beat it.
Make them like that anymore.
Nope. Not at all. But
Cash Tango.
Tango and Cash. I was just like, I understood what you were saying. Just real quick too. Rick is saying that he left a post on the Facebook side with the link for the trailer, I'm assuming.
Oh, Rick Danford is the writer and the director for The Clock.
There you go.
He's
Shout
also,
Sorry, Rick.
the one who launched Indie Horror Junkie that I work for. So we work together on that magazine. And we are also, Rick and Terry Durrell and myself are partners. And I guess I could get into this now. We're launching our own horror convention down here in Florida called Florida Horror Con. That's going to kind of blow up down here next September. So you guys are going to have to save some money and fly down. We'll get you some media passes.
What's the con? I think you guys talked about that you were on for Hallow's Hunt as well.
No, this is a new concept since the last time we spoke to you. We're involved in a lot of cons because we put our films in cons and through the film circuits, and we go to all the cons in Florida, and I travel to a couple out of state. But because we're such big lovers of horror cons, we know what we love about them, and we know what we would like to see that's kind of lacking. So
hot dogs.
We just have this group of indie horror filmmakers, and we decided, hey, we have the resources to do it. Let's just go for it. So
That's awesome.
Florida Horror Con, it's on all the socials. You guys can check it out. But yeah, Rick's great. He's crazy talented. So he's got the link there if you guys want to check out The Clock.
Yeah. Can't wait.
And I'll definitely be there. So that's
Molly Z hits all the cons, so we know we'll see Molly there.
That's good. I mean, I'm glad some states are actually like bringing a lot of stuff back. A lot of the bigger ones in this area just shut down and they're not coming back. So it's but anyways,
the convention shut down. And
Rock and Shock was a big one. Rock and Shock was a big one for a long time, and that shut down like right before the pandemic, and then around the time of the pandemic, Scaricon, which was another big one for us.
Huh.
Yeah, that shut down as well, unfortunately. That was a lot of my opportunity to do a lot of panels and stuff like that are gone now. So
We're welcome to come down to Florida, Kevin. We've got a spot for you if you want.
I might take you up on that.
You're gonna need a lot of sunscreen, bro.
Oh yeah. I'm not gonna leave. I'm gonna sleep in the con and everything. I don't care.
Big hat.
It's the biggest hat. But so I know, Joe, you said that when you worked prior to being a filmmaker, you were in a metal band, stuff like that. At what point, this will go for Aimee as well. Like, at what point was it like, all right, I'm going all in on this? Like, I don't know, Aimee. I don't know if you are all in on it, like, or if
All
it's
in,
something.
baby.
Okay, so you don't have like a day job or anything. I always feel weird asking if people have day jobs.
No, it's okay. No, it's. I feel really fortunate to say this, but I've kept very busy in the industry over the past couple of years. You know, I had a lot of years prior to that where I was just heavily into my training for acting. You know, every single week I'm in the actor studio twice a week, 3 hours a night. I did that for over 5 years. I've always had a love for cinema and filmmaking. I can, you know, age myself right now. And, you know, back in the day, my Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was going to Blockbuster with my dad and getting 3 movies, and nothing was off limits. So I started watching horror movies and pretty much every genre with him as a little kid. You know, he's like, he was the absolute coolest. So I had a love for movies then, and I always kind of had to watch a movie twice. I'd watch it the first time and I would just start dissecting it and dissecting the shots and the acting and the choices, and then I'm like, okay, I gotta watch it again just to enjoy it. But I have kept busy with filmmaking and with Indie Horror Junkie magazine, and we're now full-time working every single week, every single day on producing Florida HorrorCon. So I'm all in.
Oh yeah.
It's awesome. It's good. I mean, I that's the thing, is there's so many things that I've wanted to go all in on, and I'm just a scaredy cat, and I don't do it. Now it's like I have a mortgage, so I can't do it.
It's
Like, 'cause
never
I'll-
gonna not be scary. I mean,
Yeah.
crap, man. I mean, how long have I been full? I mean, you've known me for how long?
Yeah, 15 or so years. Yeah, man. And like, you've always done this in some sort of capacity.
I don't remember. Yeah, I've been doing it full time for a couple decades at this point. But
That's pretty awesome.
you know, it's art. It's an art form. It's, you depend on yourself. Sometimes it's feast, sometimes it's famine. You're the one that has to push it forward and take those risks and be prepared to handle whatever comes your way, and kind of fight for your table scraps sometimes, man. And again, like, it comes down to the work. It comes down to quality, like being undeniable with what you do, or at least, at the very least, giving 1,000%, and then you know that you're gonna get to that next level. You know, it might not be this gig or the next gig or whatever, but word gets around. You know what I mean? But it is very scary. So I understand the fear. I still have the fear sometimes when I'm, you know, I just drove to Colorado and worked with a bunch of awesome folks, you know, for the Sasquologists. I had never worked with them before. Got in my van, drove how many thousands of miles?
Right.
A lot.
The mountains of Colorado, you know, and shot that. It was awesome.
The trip itself, like, you got to like stop at a lot of cool spots, and, you know, it was just like you can almost live through someone else's eyes, you know, in these situations. You're like, hey, look at that! I gotta call people and tell them to pay their bills now.
It was
I work in collections, so that's what I do during the day. You see awesome sights and you know, make cool things, and I tell people they're gonna lose their car.
Oh man.
MK Ultra is also pointing out that, Joe, you were in a folk band called the Brothers Bushes.
Here you go. Here it comes.
Spill the beans.
Yeah, talk about beans. Yeah. Was that a real thing, or is he?
Yeah, it was a very confusing time in my life. I joined the Amish community for a little bit.
Did you really?
Yeah, man, totally. And
you made fireplaces?
Yeah, I was actually making stools that you use to sit next to fireplaces.
Oh.
You know.
And then, you know, it's just kindling if you ran out.
Yeah, I was a little too poorly behaved for the Amish community. I think they expelled me.
Shocking.
Yeah, they dropped me off. I mean, it was a bumpy ride, to say the least.
Yeah.
You know,
ride.
The old horse and buggy. Like, all right.
Thank you.
Have a good one, Ezekiel. Nice meeting you. And I'm trying to think of other Amish names. I can't think of many. I apologize. But yeah, I mean, a lot of us. I mean, I was a music guy for a long time. I know Angel was a music guy for a long time, and it's one of those things where it's like, all right, now I feel like I'm too old to play out in clubs, even though I know I'm not, but I feel like I am, and so now it's like that's why I do this kind of stuff. It's like I need some kind of outlet, and it's just not the same to me. Like I would like to be doing both, but I don't know.
still like with the music thing.
You
I
still do
still
music.
score my own stuff and write my own stuff and put that into the project. So it's still like exercising that part of me that I think is very important. That, you know, it is fulfilling in a lot of ways that I can't even describe. You know, music is a big deal. And just it kind of just keeps things good in my head. You know?
Totally understand that.
For me, it's I would take it very serious, but the music I was playing was not very serious. It was very we were trying to get either a positive or a negative reaction at every show.
Get a rise out of people.
Yeah, if we weren't going over well, we wanted everyone to want to like destroy us. Like that's what we would want.
You're trying to unplug your amps.
Like that. My wife, we were playing at a club in Worcester, and like they weren't getting us, and so we just slowed down every single song, like at least half speed. And I asked my wife, "Oh, how was it?" And she's like, "Everywhere I went, they were talking about kicking your ass." I'm like, "Yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted."
Yeah, we have merch available.
Right, hill or babyface doesn't matter as long as you're getting a reaction.
Right, exactly. They're gonna remember us, that's for sure.
Right.
But yeah, I don't. I bet you there's a lot of filmmakers that have dabbled in music. It seems like
for sure,
kind of an adjoining thing, I guess.
Well, I have a question, you guys. I want to say hi to Minnie back there. Chillin'. Hi, Minnie.
Hi.
And what do you have going on? What do you have coming up project-wise? I know you're an actress. What are you getting into? I know you're going to be working with Joe and Mario, right?
That's kind of my main focus right now. I also do photography as well. I love having a camera in my hands, and just being on set in general really makes me happy. But yeah, I've been really focusing and getting, working with Joe and everything, so we're excited.
We've been working on the script today, actually. We were running some lines and stuff. I may or may not be acting in it with her.
Oh.
Hey,
I've gotten a little peek at it, and it's really good. So I'm excited to see how all this unfolds. So definitely keep an eye on this.
Yay.
Yeah, Minnie's got a good eye. She's got some good photography skills going on.
Thank you.
Nice.
Need to get her to take some fancy headshots of me.
Yeah, I know you were talking about the headshots earlier, and I was like...
Joe definitely needs some headshots. Please help him out with that.
We'll do a professional with the banana. You still incorporate your banana.
Yeah.
Is the movie...
I'm older now. It's got bruises on it, you know?
Yeah. It'll be really, really, really high quality. It'll be really good,
Yeah. So is the genre... What's the genre of this project? Without giving too much away, because I know you're still working on it, but is it what would you label it as so far?
It's definitely darker.
Yeah. The working title, this is legit. The working title for the script file is Alabama Horror. That's as far as we've gotten.
Yeah.
Yes.
That says it all right there.
Alabama Horror, baby.
Guys, we've been doing these sessions where we're getting together, we're running lines, we're filling out scenes, we're trying to discover these characters. So that when we do get to photography, everything is natural and it pours out. They have great chemistry together. So really excited to see what they're going to ultimately bring to the audience with this project. It's very exciting.
Definitely.
It'll be a slow burn. It's suspenseful on the darker side.
Nothing wrong with any of that. Slow burns are my jam. I love slow burns.
It's got some spooks.
Oh, geez.
Scary
stuff.
And that's what we've mentioned many a times. You can definitely tell on screen. You were saying they work together very well. Sometimes you're watching a movie and it's like the actors just met each other on set like the day before, so you can definitely tell that it's like it's not real. But there's other times where the actors know each other for years, and it just comes off the screen like it's believable that they know each other, or they're dating, or something like that. Like, so hearing that, it's awesome.
Yeah, me and Minnie have worked together for a good bit on just different stuff, and I've never acted. Well, have I? Not really. Like maybe like here and there, like a couple of lines or something. Right, I think maybe, but nothing substantial. But there's a relationship there to begin with. Like there's familiarity, comfort. So, and our characters are very much steeped in reality.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's not like, wow, it's wacky guy. You know, it's nothing crazy. So
hey, it's Joe.
It's kind of it's close to the world. We're pulling from ourselves, and you know, I'm writing it with her in mind. You know, for the part, and myself in mind for this other part. So it makes it easier to speak to what you're saying about chemistry and just, you know, it working on screen. You know,
the chemistry reads are important, and the table reads and like connecting before you get on set. So
Absolutely.
The fact that you guys are already doing that this so far out,
I'm
excited.
Yeah, we're aiming to shoot early next summer. We were gonna try to actually shoot this coming winter, but I think just the way the story's unfolding, you can't rush good art, and I don't want to rush it. I don't want it to be freezing cold while we're trying to make this thing. So
That part.
You know.
And that's the thing is fans, we mentioned it many a times where it's like, it's awesome that you guys but for us, we want to see it on camera. So we want to take our time. It's like, come on, I just want to see it. So I understand both sides, but it's like being a movie fan.
So it's almost like a disservice to the fan, or to me specifically, when I hear that, like, oh yeah, maybe we'll start filming it next summer. You know, just like, oh, God damn you.
Well, I'll tell you
why do you do such things to me? Sorry.
We're going to be laying the groundwork for it because we're going to be doing some interactive stuff. Like our characters have, you know, there is a social media presence. So the one character has an Instagram profile called Cape Fear Campervan on Instagram. So he may or may not be exploring, you know, strange things, and perhaps he gets led down a path during this film that takes them to a strange place. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they stop and buy some hot dogs.
Yeah,
right.
In Florida, they road trip.
Alabama.
I know that.
Amy keeps
trying
trying
the hot dog thing.
Aimee keeps trying to get me to write hot dogs into the script. I keep telling her no.
Just do it already.
She's like, why not?
Just do it already.
Yeah.
It's a quick one. How do you take a hot dog?
Put one little Easter egg of a hot dog in there. I don't want to hear it.
Do you want an Easter
Work
egg
it
or
in.
you want a hot dog?
Figure it out.
Hot dog shop.
Your
Amy's hot dogs.
staple.
How about
Easter
an
egg.
Easter egg that when you peel it, it's just hot dog meat inside of it?
Oh, Jesus Christ, Kevin.
Yeah.
That is-
You're welcome.
I prefer
You're
That's
welcome.
disturbing.
You think it's a Cadbury egg, but there's
Yeah.
just like hot dog inside of it?
Hot
Yeah.
dog with a
Disgusting.
little bit of
Caramel.
sauerkraut.
Oof.
I
No,
love some
I'm not a hot dog
Yeah.
man. It's just
Hot dog, man.
I will tear up
I don't like hot
sauerkraut.
dogs. I don't like hot dogs or bologna. That's a waste of time in the Crook
Wow.
household. By the way, my last name is Crook. That's why I said the Crook household. My last name sucks. So anyways, Angel, you have any other questions as an aspiring cinematographer?
No, I'm just I need to hear like what Joe said. I got to get off the and just get to fucking work and be scared the whole time, but having a good time.
Well, the good thing is that you'll be like, that you have a lot of friends that'll be honest with you and that will be around when it's going on. I'll be more than happy to be like, that wasn't very good.
No.
Mostly because
Positive
that would be
reinforcement, Kevin. Positive reinforcement, my friend.
That was
Don't tear down
amazingly
his house.
horrible.
Let
You
him
got
build
to
his
start
house.
somewhere. Just do it
Right.
and be consistent and do it with all your heart, and you will surprise yourself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
seriously.
Amen.
I mean,
Now-
Don't listen to what Kevin says.
I've already proven I don't know what I'm talking about. I mean,
like,
hot dogs.
hey guys, I tried and Kevin told me it's not for me.
Yeah.
And
I'm retiring. I'm officially retiring
retired.
today.
Kevin told me he knows people, and but he doesn't. But still, Gory Bits is in the chat saying indie horror rules, which I agree. And Sergio's in the chat saying that he was late.
Hey, Gory Bits.
Is Gory Bits someone you know, Amy?
I know Gory Bitch just off socials.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, Gory Bitch is a big kind of supporter of a lot of different projects we have going on. So I see their username circulating quite a bit. So, like I said, the indie horror community is where it's at, and everybody just kind of intertwines and connects, and it's a beautiful thing.
It's true.
Big twisted family.
There it is.
Now, for Aimee, with you said you started producing after acting, or is it like in between?
I mean, I started studying acting pretty young. I did theater and musical theater growing up, middle school, high school. I did some theater last year. I did an all-female comedy play called Icebreaker. So when I have a little bit of break from film, if I'm not on a project, I'm either in class or I try to connect back with theater. I just like to always...
she's a thespian. That's it. That's what you did. Yeah, okay.
I like to just, always be sharpening my tools. And I don't think you're ever done learning and growing as an artist. So I don't like to be stagnant. But once I stepped onto set and got, a few short films under my belt, and I'm one of those people that it's just how my brain works. I'm paying attention to everything that's going on. I like to see how everything works and functions. And I just, it was Harlow's Haunt with Terry Jarrell actually that I hopped on as a producer, because that was such a skeleton crew. When I met Terry, I read for him for one of the lead roles, and we really connected. We aligned with our morals and our work ethic, and I hopped on as a producer. That was the first full feature that I produced. And so working with him on that project really just kind of opened me up to that whole other side of filmmaking. And then I AD'd on it, and I just kept taking on more roles because I wanted to learn and I wanted to grow, because I do enjoy both sides of it. So, acting first and producing and ADing, it all just it goes together if you want it to, but it does pile up the roles. So, you have to focus. If you're acting in the film that you're producing, you're working on your character development and your lines and just being organic and authentic as possible on that. But then you're also producing, which could be a number of different things, whether you're casting or, everything that's involved in producing. And if you're ADing, that's one of the biggest things. You're just keeping everybody on schedule and looking at the budget and making sure that everything is just aligned and everybody knows what's going on. So it's a lot of work. Sometimes I think I'm crazy for doing it, but the more you do it, the more it becomes natural, and the more things just kind of line up, and you know what to do, and you just have to get it done.
I was going to say, did it make it any easier, like being on one side first and then jumping into producing, or like, do you think it would have been a little bit more difficult just like jumping into producing and not knowing the other side? Or
I mean, when it comes to acting, that's such an art. That's something you really have to spend a lot of time with to get to know who you are as an actor. And there's so much, in my opinion, you train and you train and you train and you train. And you find different groups of people in acting classes and theaters to continue to grow and develop. For me, that's where the work really comes in, is preparing behind the scenes. When you're producing, it's more, administrative, I guess. I mean, you're still a creator, but it's more admin work.
You need to know all the pieces and parts to be able to produce, for sure.
Yeah.
And right?
Yeah, and even taking it a step further, if you have relationships built with the people that are doing those jobs, having insight on that. So when Joe is saying, hey, I need 6-8 hours to shoot 2 or 3 pages, or a page, or maybe 6 hours to shoot half a page, depending on the kind of setup. These are all things that a producer has to take into account to schedule things out in order to make the day, because that's ultimately what it is. Because I tell you what, if you hit your crew with a bunch of 16s right out the gate, you're not going to have too many friends.
Yeah, you got to take care of your crew.
Yeah.
Try not to go over 10 these days, man.
Yeah, I agree
Now,
with that.
Too old for that.
I think we all are at this point.
You're
Dude.
trying to say I'm old?
Well, it's like, and it becomes a safety issue too, man. Anything after 10 hours, because you're there before you start, you're there after. So 10 hours really is 12 or more.
Yeah.
And, you know, you're going to be, you know, dropping lights on people's heads, and now they're dead, and then you have to write a new scene and incorporate
body.
that.
Just
And
so
do all that.
much.
I was
And not everybody is staying local. Some people might be commuting an hour back and forth every single day. So, you know, you don't want people driving home at 2 a.m. that just worked a 14-hour day to sleep 4 hours and shower and drive an hour. It just, people get delirious. You have
I would say that's the number one mistake that indie filmmakers make. We talked about some of like what we have to deal with. I would say that was like the number one mistake, right? Like they take on too much, and they are too too ambitious might be the wrong word, but you have to allow yourself time to recuperate, to rest.
Yeah.
Agreed.
It becomes a safety issue. Your creativity dwindles.
Right.
You're just struggling
Brain
to
fog.
function. Brain fog, exactly. I think that's a big problem with people that are just starting, that they're like, well, it doesn't apply to me. Like, yo, dude, on day 3, everybody's going to be zombies. And then mistakes are going to be made. And now all of a sudden, oh, congratulations, now you're doing 2 makeup days.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
any advice I would give to someone starting out, keep your days organized and under 10 hours for show. Under 10 hours, because it might go a little bit over, but that's okay. If you're hitting 12, you're getting into danger zone. But definitely take the time to give yourself that rest and that turnaround time. I see it a lot of times. I work with a private school in Charlotte. They hire me to teach their seniors how to make a little movie at the end of the year. And I guide them through the whole process, from writing to producing it to shooting it and everything. And that's one mistake they always make is that they're just trying to cram it all in, and they think they're gonna keep going, and you know, by day 2 they're running out of gas. You know, and I'm like, hey guys, this is what you wanted, remember? You wanted 15 pages in one day, guys.
And then starts to get sloppy, you know? Yeah. And then your actors aren't on point the way that they should be. And you know, like Joe said, crews dropping shit and
Right. And
it's not worth it. It's just not worth it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not. And if you don't have the experience, this is something else I see with a lot of first time or more green producers and filmmakers, is if you don't have experience doing it, you don't really know what you're getting into and all of the different elements that have to work together in order to get things shot. And even like pieces, hey, I'd never produced a feature film before. It was my first one, and so there was a lot of the expression of building the airplane as you're flying it. Yeah. You know.
Oh yeah.
So we did Joe House, or you were?
No, I was second AD.
Oh,
Joe House. Yeah. So there was a lot of stuff we were figuring out, and there were some days and things that we went long, and they were pretty taxing. So, for instance, we shot the strip club scene and the sunrise scene back to back. So we shot all night. We had to set deck this entire club. It's a comedy club here in Wilmington. We had to set deck it for a strip club, shoot everything that we shot there, and then rush Christy and David and Joe. And I think Nick. Christian, we had sound.
Nick.
Nick, AC, right? They all rushed out to catch the sunrise sequence with David in the van.
The engine blew up.
I think that was like a 20-hour day for them. You know, so
the engine of the van blew up. We pushed it into that wide shot.
Right. So, but like we didn't know what we didn't know until we got in it, and it, you know. It worked out great. It's movie magic, and it's a story that we're telling. But in the moment, it was crazy. It was chaos.
Yeah, we were ready to sleep.
Yeah, I bet.
But that's the thing, is you're always problem solving along the way, and you have to be ready for that, and you have to accept that that's just part of the job.
Yeah.
Things are going to come up. You have to allow yourself to say, okay, this has happened. It wasn't planned. Let's figure it out.
Which is all the more reason to be absolutely
rested.
Organized. Yeah, absolutely organized, absolutely prepared, because there's gonna be, you're already gonna have to deal with things.
Yeah,
but if you don't have your stuff together, so you're already figuring that out, and then these other, fires you're trying to put out, that's just a recipe for disaster. So having your game tight going in. I would totally agree. It's like you don't know what you don't know, and first timer, especially a bigger project that's not like a 3 or 4 day shoot, like a multiple week shoot.
Right.
You don't realize that it's compounded exhaustion. Mental and physical exhaustion. I mean, even the Colorado shoot, it was 13 days. And I mean, we're at high altitude, we're hiking up and down mountains. I was sore and just exhausted every day. I mean, it ultimately felt good because you're accomplishing something, but I mean, it's compounded. Like after week 1, I'm just like, I'm ready for 2 days to sleep, didn't get it, but yeah, it's wild. I mean, even if you have a plan, it's still very, very, very taxing.
So Kevin, that kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier, how you're like, I want it to come out now. I want it to come out this fall and, shoot it this fall and come out in the spring. But there is so much planning, and time is money. So if you're not prepared in the pre-production side and you go into it, you have to think, I'm paying crew, I'm paying actors. I might have flown them in and their flight's going to leave. So if you go over those days, that's just that much more money coming out of your pocket.
Yeah, switching flights, booking extra hotel rooms.
Right.
I mean, Minnie's been on set with us, like on the crew side of things. She's helped us, spend like 2 hours setting up a dolly shot. You know what I'm saying?
Love it.
It's worth it.
It always is.
But planning, it's like we got 2 hours into this one shot.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking. Yeah.
And it looked sexy.
It did.
But
we had to do a lot of building.
Like saying, unless you're working with Aimee, because she has work ethic that is untouchable.
I think everybody on this podcast it has the same work ethic as I do. I know, especially Joe. I only know Mario through Joe, just them hanging out and stuff. But I know you guys have worked together in pieces. But no, this is a group of go-getters for sure. You just gotta want it, and if you don't want it and you're not going to go hard, then just quit now.
Failure's not an option.
Yeah. Life is Pain is asking a question for all. Is making a movie more about who you know, for connections, etc., especially working on for set chemistry? Any thoughts on that?
All the above.
Like as far as like casting, is that?
I think he just means in general, like as far as like getting into it. Is it a matter of, because we talk to a lot of filmmakers and actors and actresses that work with the same people a lot.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like we're working together. We jive. You know. I mean, the crew out in Colorado, I'd never worked with them before, but it was a great group of folks. I would totally work with them again. I mean, it was just good chemistry, on and off camera. You've got the producer that's making sure I don't do anything dumb. And then you've got, my first AC that's like keeping my stuff in focus, and he knows me and knows how I shoot, right? So he knows the rhythm, and it's a dance, especially with the camera and the focus puller. So like he knows, he can anticipate that move, that that's chemistry.
Yeah.
That's working with somebody. I mean, and that's behind the camera. I mean, it's a big deal. It is a big deal. If you find that core group of awesome people, I mean,
a full agreement, and that's all the way up to the bigs. There's a reason why Scorsese always wants to work with De Niro, or Tarantino with DiCaprio, or whoever. I mean, this is just a tried and true thing in the industry. The relationships that you build, the ones that produce the best work, are definitely the ones that you want to continue to bring back, because I mean, you guys know this, there's so much chaos, like you were talking about, Aimee. There's so much chaos when you actually go into production that there's no time to those relationships need to already be formed. There's no time to kind of figure it out on the day. If a person is capable of performing a task or figuring out a problem, or if they're going to flip out on you, which is a very common thing in the business, to have somebody who doesn't have control of their emotions. I mean, and there's no time for that.
Yeah.
So
ain't nobody got time for that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to kind of feed off of what you guys are saying. The core of that is trust.
100%.
So you work with the same people, not only for their talents and efforts and energy, because you know what they're able to do and produce, but if you have that common denominator of trust, to me, that's one of the most important things. You have to trust the people that you're working with.
And that takes like that little bit of load off of your mind, because you're like not worried about like, oh, is the you know, the dolly grip, you know, is he gonna lose it, like you said, or whatever? Like you know that they're good to go, they're doing their thing. I don't, you know, we jive, they know the plan, and I don't have to tell them exactly what it, you know what I mean? It's
everybody's got each other's backs.
Yeah, it's trust. There's a common vision. There's a common goal. I mean, it's a big deal. I mean, we, like, even doing pieces, we definitely had a lot of meetings with a lot of people. I mean, it's a job interview. You know what I mean? I mean, their work might be awesome, but they might be completely insane. I mean, look, it's the same as music, dude. You got, like, the guitar player that rips, but he can't show up to practice. Well, I mean, why are you going to hire him? I mean, it's a bummer because this is a talented person.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, dude, like, oh.
Just show up.
Yeah. I mean, it's the exact same thing. You got to have that core that you trust, that you can work with. And, you know, fortunate to have good people, you know.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
Well, I know it's probably hard to believe, but it's already been just about an hour. And I do want to, MK Ultra is asking a loaded question here. I'm assuming it's going to wrap things up. He's asked Joe why he intentionally hid all information of this production from me.
Oh, wow.
Shut up.
Confrontational.
Shut up.
Well, I didn't have to put it up there, but I chose to, so it's my fault as well. I don't know if you want to touch on that or if
No.
All right.
Hiding. I'm hiding it. It's like,
yeah.
Oh, here comes Mike.
Yeah.
Put it away.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So on that note, because we do have to wrap things up, Aimee, where can people go to follow what's going on with you and your career, and even like the mag and the convention and everything?
I'm very active on Instagram and TikTok, just at Aimee Rolfsen. Harlow's Haunt Movie. We have a very active Facebook group page. It's just Harlow's Haunt Movie. All of our socials are Harlow's Haunt. The Clock, The End, Indie Horror Junkie. Definitely check that out. And Joe, you guys, you have your feature coming up. We would love to feature you and your story and what you're doing with that film and Indie Horror Junkie. And then we have Florida HorrorCon. So you can find us pretty much on all the socials anywhere, but definitely, you know, walk into it, and it's a good place to keep up.
Nice.
My Instagram handle's in my little name thing. It's at Joe Stauffer Cinema.
Yeah.
So.
And also MK Ultra wanted to say he's going to take his answer off the air. So what about everyone else? Mario, and I forgot her name. I'm sorry. What is your name?
Minnie.
Minnie.
It's a great name.
Thank you.
I love it.
Yeah. Where can people go to follow you, Minnie?
Oh, me. Oh, I have 2 accounts. I have a main, but my main one, actually, I probably want to advertise my photography account. It's a Minnie Eleanor Photography at Instagram, or at, oh my God, I'm about to say at Gmail. That's totally I'm not giving y'all my email. Don't email me. Yeah, Minnie Eleanor Photography on Instagram. Holy crap.
And what about yourself, sir?
Yeah, I'm at Mario_Marchioni on Twitter and at the Alpha Italian on IG.
Ooh.
Well, Angel, what about yourself?
You could just hit up that Strange Show page or my personal at Chaos Manus. But yeah, that's about it. And I gotta get cracking. So thank you guys for the words of encouragement, and
For sure.
Yeah.
definitely needed. So
Just
thank
dig
you.
in. Just dig in and do
Yeah.
it. And like I said, you'll surprise yourself.
And don't listen to me. Remember that.
Start like
Everybody ignore Kevin.
Yeah.
You can stay
start
home.
like a TikTok or something, and then like show your progression as you go. Kind of
Because
deal.
you're famous on TikTok doesn't mean everyone else is. All right.
You got to start
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
I started with 0 followers.
That's fact. Like that was already said. Don't listen to me. So Tony, what about yourself besides your, including your TikTok?
You can follow me at Tony Has 9 Fingers on YouTube, where I do movie reviews, unboxings, anything movie related. Tony Has 9 Fingers on X. I don't really use it at all, aka Twitter. I don't use it much. Tony Has 9 Fingers on TikTok, where I am the most. That's where I do most of my stuff. I spend most of my time on there. Tony's Movies on Instagram, where I post the movies behind me. And, of course, here on the Wicked Horror Show, most Tuesdays, except for July when we're going to take a month off. But most Tuesdays, whether we have an awesome guest or it's just horror movie talk, check us out here, watch us, and listen to us. And, Kevin.
Just A-Knuckle on Instagram. Besides doing this show, I also just started a new show called The Re-Education of Nancy Ann Ritter, featuring a actress from the original Scream movie.
Hey, we love Nancy.
Yeah. So we just filmed our 3rd episode last night, and we're going to be releasing those, I believe, sometime starting next month. So it'll be fun. And then I'm also part of That Strange Show and Black and White Fright, which are that's just classic horror that we talk about twice a month, and that's always fun. And other than that, just here waiting for a cool guest like you guys. So thanks everyone for watching and listening, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Appreciate it.
One sec.